So what is Odin Valhalla Rising? Well, it's a massive MMORPG, this new game of Nordic mythology that will be coming to your PC mobile soon. Today's video, I'm going to go through everything we know about Odin Valhalla Rising and why I'm excited about its release and why you should be too. So with Odin Valhalla Rising, we first found out about it in early 2010, and we had more information about it in then late 2010 towards 2011. So it was an MMORPG, and it couldn't come at a better time because it basically is a lot of hype in Viking at the moment. So you've got loads in the last 2 or 3 years, we've had loads of Viking TV series, and also you've got the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's quite massive at the moment. There's a lot of hype about the Viking mythology and that kind of genre. Plus, MMORPGs are quite big nowadays. A lot of people seeking a new trend, a new best MMORPG. World of Warcraft has pretty much dominated that kind of area for a very long time, but people are still looking for a decent MMORPG to enter the scene and go up with the rankings with the rest of the best. So this could be the next best MMORPG. Time will tell, but based on the backing of it, the fact is based by Lionheart Studios, plus it's Nordic mythology, plus it's got a big backing by Kakao Games, the really big games company publisher in Korea. So there's a lot of big game companies. It's hitting the right boxes that I'm looking into in a game. So it's looking good with the back and support it's getting. So I've got high hopes for it. Now it will be developed for both PC and mobile. You probably noticed recently that becomes a trend. While while mobile phones are getting more and more advanced, they'll be able to handle more graphics. You probably notice modern mobile phones you can play really decent graphics and animations on the mobile phones now, and you probably notice it's becoming more of a thing now in the scene, in the gaming scene, mobile gaming scene. That is an adaptation. You've probably seen Genshin Impact is huge in the community at the moment. Simply for that reason, you can play it on both PC and mobile, and it's easy to switch in between. And I think that's the way that games are going to be going forwards. That it's not just going to be AAA games on console or PC. It's going to be a mix of both. I find the reason that games companies are going towards that direction is because mobiles, you've got in-app purchases. So for a low development rate, you can actually produce a lot of income, while unfortunately high-end AAA console games are really expensive to make, but don't produce a lot of after income. So it's the mobile scene tend to be a more profitable area for game companies to look at now. So you probably see a lot more of those adaptations, PC or console games to mobile games, switched overs. So it is going to be on both PC and mobile. Now this is going to be a world of humans, demons and God of War made by the Unreal Engine 4. People will be able to visit places like Midgard, Niflheim, Elflem, or the Norse mythology. So it's quite a good story and environment to be in. So it was first released notification in August. This was August 2010, but really the news didn't come out to early to mid 2011, and it was only like literally this year that we was given a release date or alpha predates. So you can see by the screenshots, the in-game is the graphics going to be quite high end, which I'm really looking forward to. Now this is based on mythology, so they've already dropped names like Odin, Freya, Loki, and the famous four. You can even see Agastral, which in one of the trailers, that's the big world tree. I believe it's the world life tree and stuff like that will be in the game. With the screenshots we've had so far, you can see it's got an open world atmosphere, so you can explore the towns and villages and walk from places to places. It's got the natural Viking wood style and environment with NPCs, and also you can see there's even giants and dwarfs. I don't know if they're not being announced as playable characters yet, so far the NPC, but they have mentioned that elves, dwarfs, demons and monsters will be featured in game. And also they mentioned it was being open world non-horizon RPG. So this MMORPG, meaning basically where you can see most places you can visit, so you'll be able to walk along those paths into the mountains from village to village. Now there'll be 4 playable characters. At the moment they've only announced the human race as a playable character, but I don't know if the other races will be unlocked in future, which is a possibility. 4 classes is warrior, sorceress, priest and rogue. I will be doing separate videos breaking down the classes, a lot more of the characters and skills as they become available, and also about the lore and world environments in separate videos. This video is going through all the latest updates to let you know what the game's about, and future videos will be coming very, very soon. We'll break it down in much more details. So they've got these standard generic classes, so warrior, tank, sorcerer, your spell healer, your priest, your healer, and rogue, your ninja assassin. So the other features also include a massive open world with no loading screen, various types of dungeons, large-scale PvP content, or it will also feature things like climbing cliffs, building, swimming with land and air mounts as well, and also the elements of Nordic mythology. So here's a little screenshot of in-game hub or overlay. So obviously you've got your health bar, your mana, these are your mounts or flying mounts which become available. You've got your map which shows you about your enemies and NPCs or hero or people in your party. Also it's your world map, your location, your camera control, which would be interesting, and also back to homepage. Standard controls, movement to left, actions to right with your spells, actions, and auto. Obviously with a hot pick bar at the bottom, it looks like you can do in-game or world chat. And also you've got your, this is probably daily achievement or calendar, your gifting, your shop, your inventory, and notifications plus menu. So this looks like it's pretty standard MMORPG layout notifications you would have on this type of game. The only difference would be the graphics be higher, maybe better story driven, and open world events with massive gameplay capabilities. For example, you see the castle at the back, you're meant to be able to just visit that if you want to. So you walk around an open world, doing loads of battles, and going to anywhere you want, which is massive. So again, this is in-game shop without the hub. And you could go up to the village if you want, or you can explore the mountain range if you want. It's all up to you. So there's a couple more screenshots about in-games enemies, and you'd be faint. So some of them will be massive world, probably like world raid, world dungeon ones, and there'll be normal field bosses. You can tell the bosses are very well detailed, and even the environment is kind of generic. They still, I think, it was very good. Very realistic. They have confirmed it will be released in 2021. Now, they already got pre-alpha confirmed on the 28th of April, so literally in 1 or 2 days, people in Korea will be the first one to test the alpha testing. So there'll be alpha tests going out to all the Korean users, and they have notified that they were looking to do worldwide release. So I don't know when the rest of the world will get it, if it could be 1 month or 2 months or towards the end of 2021. They did say they do a worldwide release towards the end of the year, so I'm hoping I can get my hands on an alpha test or pre-alpha one when it gets released worldwide. But so far, lucky people in Korea will get to test it out first in literally 1 or 2 days. They have mentioned that type of environment as well that you'd be looking into would be vast meadows, snow rock mountains, dark caves, open world. To give you an idea of some of the worlds, there's 4 main worlds that they've already announced. So they've got Midgard, which is your human, probably starter location based on the 4 classes. I mentioned the 4 classes I mentioned earlier, the human classes. So this would probably be your starter human settlement. You begin the game, which is Midgard, so that's type of Nordic mythology sort of environment. Then you got Jotunheim, which is your rocky region. This is like the desert rocky area. That's probably where the giants and dwarfs will live, and that's probably where you get your mithrils, your mining material for your crafting of your equipment and armor. Then you got Nida Valkyria, which is your snowy region. I think I saw I have seen screenshots of the dwarfs in that area. I'm not sure about the other races, so that could be the dwarfs' homeland in the snowy mountains. And they've got Elfhelm, which is your elf, and probably where the world tree would reside. And the elf race as well will probably be in that forest central natural area. That I have mentioned that this will be a completely open map with no loading screens and absolute horizon visibility. This is mentioned there'll be no clipping. What you see is where you can walk, and it's going to be all open world based. So it's quite a big claim. I'm hoping that they can keep to it. Each territory will have its disposable interesting NPCs, monsters, bosses, and cities. Now, there's no notification of any extra locations, but it'd be likely would be. And now they have mentioned that they're quite proud of their revolutionary lighting technology based on research and testing. So they fully convey the feelings of Scandinavian mythology. So you can see the pictures alone show how beautiful the game's going to be. So there's been a concept art on the 4 classes should appear in the game as shown. So he said He Xiong is in charge of animation, and that the warriors will have a crew design that emphasizes on weight, and the sorcerers will be sexy, the rogue will be handsome fighter, and the priestess will be cute and modest with a touch of charm. So the classes are balanced and well developed roles are promised. They have and will be using motion capture and 3D rendering technologies to create most of the models and characters, monsters, and numerous animations. So, for example, the armors and are authentic medieval knight weapons, so realistically modeled and textured by 3D scanning. So, what they're implying is that most of their textures and animations and models on based are real life examples and locations. So, they're trying to make it as real. And even though it's got a lot of lore and it's a fantasy and a fiction based environment, they still be basing the textures and concept on real life examples, which is pretty insane. They want to emphasize the Nordic and realistic atmosphere as possible. And here's some screenshots examples of some of the characters and the textures and designs of in-game that all look pretty good, especially that one. Now, they have mentioned in several trailers and videos that because it is a massive open world environment, that you will be able to go around the world in both air and ground. So there is some trailers you can watch in my trailer playlist that shows that there's mounts flying from places to places, and as you can see, it's open world. As I mentioned, there's maybe no horizon lighting or clipping, so if you want to travel from one place to the map from village to village, you can literally fly, walk, or run there, which is great. I haven't played a game like that that's been so open with this much detail, so that'd be very cool to see. So here's a couple images of different races. This is a human race, and it shows you the texture and the characters and height. They have had confirmation of 3 races, so that'd be human, giants, and dwarfs. Now, we have seen pictures of elves, so we know elves will be in there as well, but these 3 have been confirmed. Humans, this is kind of the human textures, human race, and the village as well. What this is going to look like, as I mentioned, Midgard's going to be the human village race. I would imagine there'd be a starter town for that as well. And then you've got the giants, as I mentioned, the rocky region will mainly feature the giants in the area. And they really are giants, absolutely massive. I don't know if they'll be playable. They haven't announced it. It looks like it might be just NPCs for the moment. But I would imagine with this much details and emphasis on the characters, it'll probably be a race you can play at some point. And then you got the dwarfs in a snowy region. So you see, they haven't pretty well. They put human down to dwarfs to show the comparison there. But these are the dwarfs. So from the 8th of February this year, KO Games held in the end of 2020 did announce the insight of the future projects and game releases. Releasing dates. They have mentioned Odin as part of that and launch of games, which is good. Now, they did say we'll have to wait a little bit longer because it looks more like it would be in quarter 2 of 2021, which is now. There's a statement that says, in terms of the launch titles and schedule for Odin, Korean version scheduled for second quarter of 2021. So as I mentioned, they already announced a 28th of April alpha release, but different versions of the market will aim for the second half of the year for release. For different versions, they were looking towards the end of the year. They didn't say worldwide yet, so I'd imagine towards the end of the year is more possibility you might get hands on it. So there was a question that was answered in the convention. Someone asked, what was the unique and differentiation factor that distinguishes Odin from other competing game titles? Also, what is your key end game content for this game title focus on? And the answer, soon we'll have an opportunity to show you very specific features of the game that really offers, but you would know that the title is based on Nordic mythology and offers a very strong story as well as a game universe that we think is going to be work on a very big and significant appeal to the player base. If you look at the capabilities of Lionheart dev team, they both offer high level graphics and actually gameplay characteristics, which is rarely present in current MMOs. For the endgame content is PvP, and we'll announce more details in the near future. So basically, it's saying that basically it's going to be very driven on story and graphics and gameplay. It's going to be basically big player based. So as I mentioned, they've got second quarter, which is domestic, which is a Korean based company. So domestic basically means home. So that's Korean based. Taiwan is going to be in quarter 4 towards the end of the year. They haven't done it worldwide confirmation, but it's always, these conventions are always done towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year as well. So I would imagine there'll be another announcement in a couple of months for more release dates. As soon as I know, or if I get my hands on an alpha, I will let you guys know and have a look ASAP. Now, they have really revealed it's going to be an 18 plus game because of the nature of the graphics being so realistic. They will include blood in the game, so not just fighting, but it will be a bit of gore as well. I'm glad they're making an 18 game, because not a lot of these mobile games push that, because they want obviously bigger fan base for more revenue and more obviously players. In fact, they're going to keep it realistic and keep it to the core. So Norse mythology isn't pretty. It's all about, slaying demons, monsters, and the Viking area. So having an 18 plus is a good thing in my book, because they're going to keep it as realistic as they can. And there was a big trailer that was recently released a couple weeks ago. This is in 4K, and it's an English version as well. So it's English titled and scenario. I've got a link to that in the description below. So if you want to see that, click that. And I've got a whole bunch of trailers that are all the trailers are currently out. It's on the trailer playlist. Have a look at them. But this is called Loki's Wrath on the trailer, and it's going through. It's basically explaining about I want to say explaining, but it's going through a story about Loki, because it tells a story about Loki. He murders his three sons, which subsequently causes a confrontation with the other deities and heroes. So these are key characters waging war with each other. So it's one of this saga and one of this background stories that's going to be in the game. About the monsters we need to fight and the story behind it. So he basically is going to be a key player we've got to take down. So that's up to date on all we know so far. As soon as I get a hand on pre-reg, I will let you know. I'm going to see if it, at the moment it says it's only Korean based and towards the end of the year, but it's Taiwan. But if it's worldwide, or if I can get a kind of outside region lock on it so I can have a look, I'll let you guys know ASAP. I will do some separate videos, more details about the world, the lore, and the actual gameplay characters. So if you want to know more, make sure you're sub and hit notifications so I let you so updated on the latest Odin news. I'm very excited about this game. I hope you are too, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.